Hey guys, Shane Olson here. How's it going? I just wanted to give you guys a really quick update and I guess an announcement on what's going on this week. There is not going to be a Q&A this Friday, which is, what is this Friday? It is the 23rd. So this Friday, the 23rd, there will be no Q&A. And the reason why is because I'm going to be at GDC, which is Game Developers Conference, in San Francisco. And the reason I'm going is because I'm going to meet up with a bunch of people and I'm going to learn newer character pipeline techniques that I can then turn around and teach to you guys. So that's why I'm heading there. And, maybe share the love and get a few more students. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm really excited about that, but that also means that I will not be streaming on Pixelogic's Twitch channel tomorrow evening. So I actually leave tomorrow morning and then I'll be back on Saturday. So if you see that there's a lot less comments by me in the community, that's why I'm going to be out. Anyway, it's going to be a great time. And I'm going to try to maybe video some around GDC so you can see what it's like. And post a video. We'll see if I get the time to do that or not. Anyway, it's going to be really exciting. And you probably saw the announcement for ZBrush 2018. All I'm going to tell you is they're not calling it ZBrush 5.0. They're calling it ZBrush 2018. They're kind of following along the lines of other software like Maya 2018, stuff like that. So they're calling it 2018. And that... there's something in there, and that's the reason I have not finished the lesson on ZRemesher. I'm holding off because something is, I can't go into details. I wish I could. I cannot. But I know a little something about it, and that has made me hold off that lesson until the new version is released. So anyway, super exciting stuff that happens on March 27th on I believe ZBrushLive.com, so you can go check that out and watch the announcement. There's I put a link in the announcement that I posted in the community today. So anyway, thanks. And one more thing, and it's it's super bad. Oh, well, it's not that bad, but for me it's like, oh really. When I did last week's Q&A session, Zoom only recorded the second half. If you were watching live, you probably saw me go, oh, I accidentally hit that button. And now it's... So what I thought I did was turn off the recording, but in actuality what I did was I turned on cloud recording, and I don't know if that just deleted the first half of the recording. I don't know what it did, and it was super saddening because I thought last week's session was really good. But anyway, it did record the second half of that session, and I'm just gonna put it right after this announcement. So anyway, kind of a bummer deal. I'm sorry about that. Zoom is set to record by default, so it should just start recording as soon as I start it, and it's worked up until now. So I don't know what the deal was, but I'm gonna pay closer attention to make sure it absolutely is recording, because that's kind of crappy. Another thing is I might do I might do a ZBrush, or not ZBrush, a YouTube live event rather than Zoom. I'm not sure just yet, because then I know it's absolutely recorded, So, and then it just puts it right to YouTube, and as soon as it's done, it's there and ready for you guys to rewatch. So that's something I'm thinking about. I don't know, because the interaction with Zoom isn't quite as much as I thought it would be. I mean, it's nice to hear your guys' voice and stuff like that. But then there's also, people that might unmute their microphone, and I have no control over that, and might cause kind of some grief. So not that it has so far, but I'm just like, oh, maybe it will happen. I don't know. Anyway, so that's just something I'm thinking about. But so anyway, here is the second half of last week's Q&A, and I look forward to talking to you guys about GDC and have a new Q&A the week following this week. So I will see you then. Take care. I can't see if it still says I'm recording or not. Where is that?
It shows recording.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, so in these hands, so you can see the density of these legs. It's kind of low. And then it continues here, which is pretty good, but then it gets pretty detailed, especially around the sole. So I would just recommend keeping so I would increase the density of this area and like decrease the density of the hand, especially like in this area. Just I would look at other models to see how people do like the fingers and stuff, because I mean these are continued all the way up, and a way you can eliminate that is by doing like U shapes in the geometry. So what I typically do, and this is with like multi-cut in Maya or in 3D Coat, is I will draw a line here and then here, and then I connect them right there, and then I do the diagonals. So then you go from like 2 in, and then you exit with 4. So you essentially double the resolution as you're going into your fingers. So if your fingers were down here, that's fingers, right? If your fingers were down here and your arm was up here, you can see how you can like increase the density where you need it without taking it all the way up the arm. So that's a way to do that. And then you can also do U-turns across symmetry. So like, and this needs more density. Let me change the color. Every time I say density, it reminds me of Back to the Future, Destiny. Okay, and then like just around the head, and it just seems a little bit too dense. I think you could reduce that, especially around the eyes. But you need to increase it right here and just make it even, very, very even. You want to try and get squares. And the only place you shouldn't have squares, I mean, you can't have squares everywhere. It's kind of impossible, but you try and get the squares as close as possible. And actually the best part, let's see, or one of the better parts that you have is in this area. Even though there's triangles and stuff, it doesn't look too bad. These hoses are nice. The shoulders, just even that out. And then even out the stuff right here. The straps, you might want to sew them in. Most of the time, if a strap or something is sitting right on the surface of the model like this, I will use normal maps instead of actual geometry sitting on top of geometry, because when you go to rig this, then the riggers are going to have a very difficult time like rigging this. That has way too many faces in there. I would just sew it in. You can make it so as you come down. Let's see. Lost my pen. Okay, so as you come down, you're just going to bring it out, go down like this, and continue on, and sew these in, to the leg. So there's not a separation. And if you need to adjust your retop to include that in there, then you can. And that's what I would do. So I would typically go, like if I'm doing it around the chest, I would just sew this right in and then let the normal map do its work to fix that, because otherwise the strap is going to just float across the surface, especially this one. And if you want to separate by materials, that's okay. Like you could leave maybe this separated from the rest of the body. If you were to cut that off, that's okay. But typically you would want to sew that stuff in. But you would not sew in this, because it's going to float and it's going to be part of like, and that just comes through experience. I don't know how to say, well, this would do this and this would not, but typically anything that's on the surface like this, you would stitch it in if you can. And I know I didn't do that so much in the course because I was trying to be, I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with trying to work all this stuff in. But if you get a job, ask them how they want it. Like, say, do you want all these belts stitched in or not? And then, like, what is the level of density that you want your squares, or your, like, is this a 3000 quad model, or how dense is this model? I need to put up, I'll put up some more examples of good topology. So hope that helps. Anyway, I keep yapping. I hope if you guys have any questions, please pipe up. Let's see, Jonas, quick question. If we want to do the Luigi challenge, should we still ask him for concept permission, or would it get annoying if you do a lot of spam requests? I told him, and he's completely fine with it. And yes, you should ask for permission. The only reason you would not ask for permission, or the reason you would ask for permission, is because if say the concept you chose actually already belongs to someone, say if he got commissioned by, like, just say Warner Brothers or something, and they own that concept and you go model it, it kind of gets tricky. It gets a little tricky where, maybe Warner Brothers would come to you and say, hey, that's our design, please take it down. And that would suck if you went to all this work and you put it in your portfolio. And it happens very, very, very rarely, but on that slim chance that it does happen, it's never happened to me. Well, typically because I always ask for permission, but I have asked people for permission before, and they've said no, because this is already owned by blah. And for example, I asked Shane Glines if I could model one of his, like, Poison Ivy models or something like that. And he's like, well, it belongs to Warner Brothers, so I would probably pick something else. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of a tricky, slippery slope. You just need to be super cautious about that. So yeah, I would ask him, and he knows. So he's pretty excited about the whole thing. So yeah, anybody else before we wrap it up? I hope that answered your question, Jonas. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I can't believe we got through them all today. I always worry I'm going to get overwhelmed and not be able to get them through. Oh, your mermaid? I didn't see it. Where did you add it to your, did you reply to your post? Okay. Let me look. So, okay. I got to say, that's the only thing I do not care for with Google Plus communities, is it doesn't bump your post up when you post something new. Let me see. So I don't mind if you make a new post when you make a major update. So if you've worked like a couple days and you think you've made major improvement, so not like every little tweak, because we don't want the feed filled with a whole bunch of updates. But if you've made a major update, I don't mind you making a new post. So then it would be seen more and it pops up to the top. And I know it's not the best organization-wise, but the whole system works on hashtags and the categories and stuff like that. So if you you can still find your work. So I can do a search for you. Let's see. See if it pops up. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I saw it there for a second. No. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, she's looking good. I love the profile. Let me get my drawer out. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so one thing I would do is I would push back where her ear connects to here. So this whole thing, I would push back to be about here. That's so the part where the ear connects to the head, just as a guideline, that is usually in the center. So from the center, then it goes back. If that makes sense. And that will give more space between the ear and the eye, where the eye finishes, right here. And that will help. And then, yeah, this profile is nice. That's really good. There's something about this being a little too peaked. This is good right here. And yeah, maybe point it, make sure it's going up right there. And the eye shape looks great. The eyelids look great. The eyebrows are nice. Again, I wouldn't go solid black. You can go, the only place I do solid black is with the pupils. But with eyelashes, I go like a really dark gray. And the eyebrows, I'd go a really dark gray. Just because the shadows, you want to be able to see the shadows going around the geometry. And if it's solid black, you can't really see that because, you know, nothing, the shadow is not going to make it darker, you know. So I would typically do that. The lips look good. Yeah, they look nice. Let's see. The eyelids. The nose is good. Maybe bring the neck just a little out this direction just to finish it, because it kind of looks like there's too much space between here and here. So either like thicken up that neck, or yeah, that's what I would do. I just bring it forward like that. And you can also bring the center part underneath the jaw down. I mean, leave the jaw line, but take the center and just kind of, so it's not such a harsh change right there. So it's like more of a, just a little bit. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Good stuff. And I remember the concept. I'm just trying to remember it. Let's